welcome to another Outside the Box review. Today we'll be looking at the Dog Alien from McFarlane's Movie Maniacs Series 6. As of now, this is pretty much the only way you can get an action figure, at least at this scale, of the Dog Alien from Alien 3. But to start off with, I gotta say, this is a really nice sculpt, especially for the time it was made. I think this figure came out in about 2003. And it does look really good. And it's a really good representation of the character. I mean, there's so much little detail here in the head and on the body. And it actually is really impressive how skinny they made him. And as of yet, I have not had him actually break. I think I probably just jinxed myself. But he does seem to be a fairly sturdy figure. My biggest gripe about the sculpt in general is honestly just this crown up here. It looks like crap. I mean, literally and figuratively. They went through so much trouble to get this really kind of muted, subdued color to the rest of it. There's really nice paint details. You can see it's a gray, but they actually kind of have little bits of this color running through to highlight it. Some nice dry brushing effect there. And this part just really could have stood to have a little better detail, maybe not quite so much of a gloss on it. I know it's a little more movie accurate to have the gloss, but it just looks like plastic. It just looks like cheap plastic. You turn the figure around here, take a look at the back. Equally nicely sculpted. I love the bony look of all the parts here. Shoulder blades, the spinal column going down there. Just a lot of attention to detail on this design. McFarlane really did well with this sculpt, at least. Interestingly enough, this actually has an action feature. You saw on the back there's a little plunger here. And you can press that, and his jaw will kinda shoot out. It doesn't come out very far. It's sculpted to look closed, and it's not really all that good. Later on, NECA would release their version of the original Alien. I think they did a Aliens version as well, and it was much nicer. It actually had a open and closable jaw, and you could just pull the inner jaw out, and it was sculpted to be open, ready to bite. But it's decent. I don't know if this was always the case with this figure. I bought this at a comic book store in Orlando for a pretty cheap price. So I don't know if whoever owned it broke the firing mechanism. But as of now, if you push back on the tongue itself, it won't lock. You actually have to go and manually pull back on the peg here. And even sometimes that won't do it. There we go. So it's not exactly a strong feature. This guy has a good amount of articulation, which is pretty nice. The head is, I guess you'd call it a pin and socket joint. You can rotate up and down here, really long range, and then it will also rotate side to side. It could probably do a 360 if it wasn't hindered by his shoulder blades. There's a ball jointed shoulder there. It's swivel at the wrist. No elbow articulation, and I understand at the time it probably would have been hard to get that in such a skinny area. I know even with the NECA Alien figure, they tend to be a little fragile because they have joints there. But it really would have been nice, especially for posing this guy, to have a little more in the way of options. He has a mid-torso crunch and rotate. Once again, he could probably do 360 if he wasn't hindered by his rib cage. He has a ball-jointed rear legs. You can see there's some paint rub in there. I think it's only on the one side, fortunately, and you're never really going to look at that part. Nothing in either of the knees, but the foot will bend and it will rotate. Not much, but it will. And this long, really nice tail on him is soft plastic or soft rubber with a inner wire, so you can bend it however you want it. I'm always wary of these things. I know as a kid I had a lot of toys with this kind of setup, and the inner wire ended up breaking over time and the plastic started corroding around it. This one seems to be decent. It's not in too bad a shape. I don't like to mess with it if I can avoid it, though. I just don't really want to break this tail off. As you can see, the soft rubber continues on to this large blade at the back of the tail, and that's actually become kind of warped. It was like that before I got it. Now, this has a lot of articulation for a McFarlane figure, but I think it's really just to serve the sole purpose of letting him stand either on his hind legs, as you saw at the beginning of the review, or to take him and turn him around so that he is in dog mode. And here he is going across the ground in full-out dog mode. I mean, honestly, the other mode is really just him kind of sitting upright. So this is the only way to get him really looking like he's actually moving in a kind of dynamic pose. But it is a pretty nice option. And for a company that's not really known for its articulation, it's nice that at least gave us the option to do this. I mean, a lot of times McFarlane figures are statues with a couple swivel joints in it to call it an action figure. And at least this way, you get, at bare minimum, a statue you can have in two different poses. And really, you can do a lot more with it. Overall, this is a really cool figure, just by design alone. Alien 3 was not my favorite of the Alien movies. I mean, I don't think anybody's gonna say that any of them are better than 2, and if they are, they're probably gonna say it was the first one. But for part 3, this is a really cool figure. It's kind of a surprising one to even see put out. I didn't know it existed until I walked into the comic book shop and saw it on the shelf. And quite honestly, this kind of makes me feel a little more generous towards McFarlane's Alien figures. I may actually go and pick up their Resurrection figure and try to fill out the lines of Aliens a little more. And I would definitely recommend this guy. I mean, the only way you're going to really find him is secondhand, or maybe you can find him new in package at some collector's thing, but for the most part, you're going to be getting them used. If I bring in my NECA Alien here, you can see that they are somewhat in scale. They are pretty much in scale, though it is hard to see because I have limited depth in my backdrop, and the tails on these things actually do take up a good bit of real estate. But they work well together. It's not a screaming, glaring issue where you could tell that one is made by one company and is totally different than the other. And if you're trying to fill out your Alien figures, this is a good one to get. And the plus side too is, to be a correct movie diorama, you only need the one. There's no need to troop build with any of these guys, so definitely worth picking one up just to have in your collection. And that's it for today's Outside the Box review. We'll be back with more reviews coming soon.